Hi guys, if you're new here, my name's Nikki. I'm a beekeeper and I make beekeeping videos. If that's something you're interested in watching, hit the subscribe button. If you're one of my returning subscribers, thank you so much for coming back and listening to what I have to say. I really appreciate it. Today we're going to be doing our week 5 inspection on our newest hive. If you haven't seen the previous videos, I will link them down in the description below and you can go check them out. I can't believe it's been 5 weeks already. It seems like this is flying past so quickly. Last week on our inspection, we found our queen, we found eggs, lots of brood. We did find a queen cup on that inspection, and there was a second queen cup that I missed during the inspection, but I did see it when we replayed the video back. So we're gonna check on that queen cup and see how the bees are doing with that. And also, because of the queen cup that we saw, I added a second hive body to this hive, and we're gonna check and see if they've made progress in this hive. We did our mite wash last week and didn't find any mites. I'm gonna get my stuff on and we're gonna get started. So last week when I added the second deep on, I put the Boardman feeder in the front of the hive here. Now I prefer to keep them inside the hive because I think it helps with robbing. But a lot of times when they first get that second box on, they won't come all the way up through to get the sugar syrup, so I will put it on the front initially. And since I've done that, this hive has started taking a lot more sugar syrup. They actually need this replaced today. They're going through about 4 pounds of sugar syrup every couple days. I'm just going to check my inner cover here for my queen, and I do not see her. So we have a pretty good amount of bees up here. One thing I did not show you guys last week, and I will try to do a better job in editing, making sure I get all of the inspection and all the pertinent parts of it, is that I did take a frame of eggs from the bottom box and put up here in this top box to encourage the bees to come up and draw these frames out. So we're just going to take a quick look through these frames and see what we can find. We're not seeing anything drawn here on the outer frames. We had, again, Ohio weather is crazy, so we've had a lot of rain this past week. I'm not expecting them to have a lot of this box drawn out, if any. So we have empty frames. Yeah, they're not really propolizing up here, not that much. So not really much going on up here. There are bees up here. I'm not seeing anything drawn out. So we do have a little bit here starting to be drawn out on this frame. I will probably go in and fix this little section of burr comb here. Now this next frame is the frame that I added to the top box from the bottom. I really was hoping to see a lot more drawn out since they started taking a lot of syrup. Here I've got, oh, my queen is on this frame. So my queen is here on the top of the frame. She's kind of hiding there. She's kind of hiding. She is right there. So that extra comb you see there on the frame, that's burr comb. I will clean that off, but not while the queen is on this frame. So we've got some capped brood here on this side. And on the other side, I've got some nectar and some eggs. Nectar and eggs there, and another queen cell. So right here on this frame, we have another queen cell. And keep an eye on my queen as I'm doing this, because I really don't want, and she's laying. So if I look inside of these cells, so in these queen cells, there is no egg, no larva. This might just be one of my hive that likes to build the queen cups, because there's no eggs in this queen cup at all. But we will, before I tear it down, I will check the rest of the hive to see how they're doing. Now this frame they've actually did pretty well on. I can already see the next frame. They have gotten drawn out, and there are eggs on this frame. So we have this side, they just barely started to draw out, and on the opposite side, they have started drawing this frame out. They're almost complete, and there are eggs in those cells. So they have made a little bit of progress up in this box. It's nice to see. And we have an empty frame. And another empty frame here. And this one's empty as well. So not a lot of progress, but it is nice to see that they are starting to draw these frames out up top, and the queen is laying up here. Now I'm going to remove this box, and what I want to do when I remove it is I'm going to tip it onto its side so I can get a better look at the bottom of the box. So if your bees build swarm cells, a lot of times are on the bottom of these frames, and this will give you a better look at them. So I do like to just tip it onto its side here. You can get a really good look at the bottom of the frames, remove this burr comb, which we'll do in a few minutes, and then start to do our inspection of this bottom box. And there are a lot of bees down here. Now one of these frames down here is an empty frame that I replaced with that brood frame. So we're going to see if they've started to draw that out. We don't have anything on our last frame yet. Still not drawing out the last two. So this side, This frame we have a little bit of brood and some sugar syrup, some cap syrup, and they have just started drawing out the back side. So that's what this frame looks like. And that's the other side. You can see where they just started drawing. Just gonna blow the bees and see if there's no queen cups on this frame that I missed. And I don't see any. Okay, we have brood with some eggs on this side. We have brood, capped brood with a lot of pollen and eggs and some syrup. And on this side of the frame we have some capped brood and some syrup and a few eggs. So here we've got our capped brood, our syrup, and this side is very, very similar. Now this next frame was an empty frame that I added from the top box, so we're going to check it out and see how much progress they've made on this frame. And they are just starting to draw this frame out. So you can see here they're just starting to draw it out on both sides. I'm going to go ahead and clean up this burr comb. And I save all of my burr comb because it is beeswax. So this frame we have a frame of brood, some capped brood, larvae. I don't see any swarm cells or queen cups on this side. And we have another brood frame with a lot of larvae on the other side. That's what this side looks like. And we have this side as well. Very similar. Heavy frame here, and got some capped brood, some larvae eggs on this side of the frame, and the capped syrup at the top. Let's see. And I'm not seeing the queen cell that I missed last week, so they possibly have torn that cell down. So here on this frame we have just a brood frame with some larvae. This one as well, eggs, larvae, capped brood. That's what this frame looks like. we have another frame of eggs and a little bit of capped brood and some syrup. Lots of eggs on this frame. And this side is capped brood with some larvae, some eggs, and some syrup. So we have a lot more brood in this hive than they initially had. At first they were storing a lot of syrup and nectar, and they've definitely increased. The queen has increased laying. So I'm not seeing as much nectar stores as before. Okay, so nothing on this side of this frame. And this is a frame of syrup. So this is all syrup and a little bit of pollen. If you've looked at the other videos or the other inspections, before we had several frames that were completely syrup on one side, and that is not the case now. And we have another queen cell in this hive. So that's what I'm saying. So here on this frame we have another queen cup, no egg in it, no larva. I don't really have any issues or see any issues with this queen. She's laying well. Sometimes you get hives that just build these as like an insurance policy, but I'm actually gonna just smash this one. And again, the previous queen cup that we saw last week, it does not appear to be present. So we have an empty frame here on the end. So far it's a pretty uneventful inspection today, so I'm going to put this hive back together. So I'm going to go back up into this top box here and get rid of the queen cup that we had. going to finish putting these rolls back together, and then I'll go over our inspection and what we saw today. Okay guys, that wraps up week 5 inspection for this hive. It was a pretty uneventful inspection. As I said before, I did move a brood frame up into the second deep that we put on last week. And the bees have gone up into that box. The queen was actually up there today. They have started to draw out in that box, and we do have some fresh eggs up there on the second frame, which is really, really nice to see. I did not see the exact queen cup that was in here last week. It looks like they've torn that down, but I did see additional queen cups in here that don't have any eggs in them. I'm not concerned about the queen cups these bees are making. Sometimes you just have hives that build them as kind of an emergency or a backup. It doesn't necessarily mean that the queen is going to swarm or that there's an issue with your queen. So I'm going to continue just to watch them with these queen cups. And then if I think that they are trying to replace her or they're trying to swarm, we'll do some different things and take some action in that case. I don't see any issues with this queen. This hive has significantly more brood in the hive than they had in the past, and less syrup or nectar that's being stored. So I don't think I have an issue with my queen. There are a couple frames that don't quite have the ideal brood pattern on them, but that is not the queen's fault in my opinion. So those are the frames, if you look back at week 2, week 3, that the bees had all filled with syrup and then had removed some of that syrup to give her a place to lay. So that's why those frames don't look like kind of ideal brood pattern, is because there just isn't enough space in the frame for the queen to lay, and it's not necessarily a fault of the queen. So I don't have any concerns right now with her performance or that she's not laying appropriately. So I'm just going to keep watching them and see how they do. I told you before, they're taking a lot more syrup. I'm going to refill their syrup here in just a second for them. And since they're going up into that top box, I will likely in the next couple days put that feeder back up on top. I don't have any issues right now with robbing. I've been watching through the week to make sure that they're okay, and I haven't seen that. But ideally, I do like my feeders to be inside the hive, so I'm probably going to make that choice in the next couple of days, but I'll just watch them and see. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. Stay tuned next week for week 6, and thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have a great day.